Welcome to the show, Nate. How you feeling?
I'm doing great. How about yourself?
Not pretty good, pretty good. Um, I've got a lot to unpack. Thanks for the pack that you sent me, and you've sent me through a lot of information on health and wellness. So I'm happy to dive into that in today's podcast.
Yeah, let's do it.
All right. So, why is first of all, I'd like to get your opinion on intermittent fasting.
Yeah. Just jump in right there.
I'm
Straight up
just
with
gonna
intermittent fasting.
yes, please.
All right. Well, what do you? I mean, like when you say intermittent fasting, what are you talking about? Because I feel like the presiding, like when people say like, "Oh, I'm doing intermittent fasting," what they mean to say is I'm doing a 16-hour fasting window and then an 8-hour feeding window, and that's what people seem to mean by intermittent fasting. Is that kind of what you're talking about, or are you talking about like in general? What is that all about?
Okay, to be more specific, maybe the benefits of intermittent fasting, because I know you mentioned that in your book, and I'm a big advocate of fasting as well, and yeah, I'd just like to get your take on it, and yeah, just the benefits of fasting.
Sure. Yeah.
Yeah,
Well, like, I mean, fasting's been around for a really long time. It's kind of popped up back into popularity like early 2000s. And it's like, I feel like it's really just hit its stride in the last year or so where people are now talking about it all the time. Intermittent fasting is this household word. You're talking like your mom's talking about it. Your grandma's talking about it. Everybody's intermittent fasting. And there's a couple different reasons that it's beneficial. Okay. Well, first and foremost, most people are using it as a weight loss technique. And it's super effective as a weight loss technique because it's really just a black and white, like yes or no, I'm eating right now or I'm not eating right now. So it gives people a very firm structure to their day. Also, if you're cutting out breakfast and lunch or breakfast, lunch and dinner or anything like that, you're going to be eating less calories. And at the end of the day, all weight loss comes down to a caloric deficit. You are not losing weight if you are in a caloric surplus. If you're eating more than you're burning, you're not losing weight, no matter how fancy your diet is, no matter how much keto you're doing, no matter how much intermittent fasting you're doing. So that's like the first and foremost benefit. And I think that like one of the big things that's amazing about it is that it gives people so much structure. So it's not like, oh, what are my macros like right now? Should I be counting this? Should I be eating this? Is this a nightshade? Is this like not paleo? Like a lot of diets create questions. Intermittent fasting is simple. It's like, yo, eat whatever, just don't eat before 1, and then stop eating at 9,
but
whatever that looks like for you.
What about the hunger pains? I need to eat as soon as I wake up. What about people in that sort of mindset? What do you say to those people?
Yeah, so like it really depends, because like maybe for someone like you, Kristian, who's like, lean guy, fit, working on maybe building muscle rather than weight loss, intermittent fasting can be a tool in your toolbox that can enable you to do like more of a lean bulking approach.
Okay.
And for a lot of people, what I recommend is that like not necessarily doing a 16-hour fast and an 8-hour feeding window every single day. And this is something that I talk to a lot of women about. And women are kind of trending towards this, being like, oh, I want to do more intermittent fasting. But females that have not gone through menopause yet, younger females, a 16-8 fast is actually extremely detrimental for them, especially long term. They can have success within like 4 or 6 weeks. But after that, what starts to happen is their body starts really getting stressed out. You can start seeing like hair loss, insomnia, missing periods, a couple of negative things like that. None of that answers your question though. So what I would say to someone in that situation is like, hey, like I got hunger pangs. I like to eat in the morning. Like, great. If you want to do this, like there are ways of doing intermittent fasting without doing a daily fast. And if you're like, no, but I still want to do the daily fast, I want to do 16-8. Okay, awesome. What I would recommend is just let's go with some stimulants right up front. Throw some tea in there, throw some black coffee in there, nothing with calories.
Okay.
And
so, yeah.
What time is it for you right now?
It's 8 o'clock at the moment.
8 a.m.
in the morning. 8 a.m. Yeah.
Nice. Is it like Saturday morning for you?
It is Saturday morning. Yes.
How's Saturday?
How is Saturday? Saturday's the greatest day of the week.
Pretty good day for you so far. I'm still at Friday, so like I don't even know how tomorrow is yet.
Oh God, yeah. No, look. I mean, yeah. I smashed out the work week, and now I'm just blessed to just have a bit of time and just relax. And Saturday is just an awesome day, and I'm going to be playing tennis later today. So shout out to Faulkner Tennis Club if you guys are listening. I'm gonna be playing. Hopefully the rain holds up because I don't know what this rain is just. I don't know if you've been to Melbourne, but Melbourne has 4 seasons in one day. So yeah. It's
I'm in
crazy.
Arizona. I'm in
Okay.
Arizona and like on the West Coast, and we have 2 seasons, and they're about 6 months each. So I don't know about the whole 4. I've never even experienced 4 seasons. I don't even know what that's about. So
What temperature? How does it get hot in Arizona?
yeah, like it'll get to be like 45, 50, like a 45, 48 during the summer, like hot.
And do you like go out for runs or
No one does that. If you want to run in Arizona, you got to wake up at like 4 a.m., get out and get back before the sun rises. Like
oh
that's
my
how it goes,
God.
especially in the middle of the summer, because like early in the summer, like May, and then later like September, it starts cooling off at night. It'll go below 100, but like June, July, August, or I'm sorry, like it'll go below like 38, 40. But like those other months, it won't ever drop that low. It stays hot all the time because it's all pavement. So like the sun beats down, it's hot all day, and then it's hot all night when that heat radiates up. So basically everyone in Arizona is all outside, super active during the winter. And then during the summer, we all stay indoors in our AC controlled, and we just get grumpy and we wait for winter.
Cool. And speaking of early mornings, I'm a big fan of morning routines, and I'd like to pick your brain a little bit because my morning routine is meditation. I try to do it every day, but I'm not too strict. Look, sometimes life gets in the way, and I don't meditate every day, but I make a concerned effort to. I just like to get your take on that. What's your take on morning routines?
Well, I think everybody's got a morning routine, whether you do it intentionally or not. Like rolling out of bed, like smashing your alarm clock and be like, this shit sucks. And then like putting on clothes, like getting into the car, like that's a morning routine, not effective or like fun, but like that's still a routine that you're probably doing in the morning. So whether you're hitting your alarm clock a lot, or like you said, waking up, having some water first thing and meditating, like you got to pick one, right? And I'm a huge fan of taking the decisions out of the early parts of the day. Like, I don't know about you, man, but like I wear a lot of hats, so like I'm doing marketing over here. Now I'm writing an email sequence. Now I'm talking to my clients. Now I'm coaching some business clients. Now I'm writing this book. Now I'm writing an email sequence again. Like, so I'm just like going back and forth all the time. So I've got a million decisions to make all day long. So in the morning, I don't want to think about what am I going to do first thing. I don't want to think about what am I going to wear in the morning. I have this shirt in like 9 colors. This is the shirt I wear. This is just what I do. So I'm a huge fan of scripting the first part of your day, so there's no decisions to be made. So you have all that mental energy you can apply to the really important things, not like what cereal should I eat? What's breakfast look like?
That's like the Mark Zuckerberg playbook right there. That's like,
Mark Zuckerberg, Steve Jobs.
Steve Jobs, maybe I think Elon Musk's maybe doing it, man. All the top entrepreneurs, like what is it? I think, because we can become overwhelmed with our decision-making process. So
decision fatigue is a real thing. Especially if you're doing a lot of different things. If you're doing the same task over and over again, you don't have to make these big decisions. It's no big deal. But if you're a solopreneur, an entrepreneur, building a business, that can be really challenging by the end of the day when you're like, I have another Zoom meeting. Why don't I just instead go walk into traffic?
Now, you mentioned something. I was following your socials, and you mentioned something game-changing, which is evening routines as well. So and that kind of, it just made me think, I just kind of go to sleep myself, but I think setting aside some time to really, maximize the end of the day. And then when we wake up, we're hitting home runs and we're doing all these cool things. Do you have a specific evening routine as well?
Or am I just going to give you more generalities like I did about the morning routine? Yeah, so I guess I'll do some more specifics and then maybe I can talk about my specific morning routine if that's helpful as well. Because mine is really simple right now. I don't do a whole lot. I was meditating for a while, but I kind of gave that up. I got a brand new baby in the house, so it's been a little less time to do stuff like that. So in the evening, there's a couple things that I'm looking for. Number one is I don't want to be like staying up. I don't know if you ever had this, Kristian, where you're like drifting out to sleep and you're like, oh shit, got to text Cody back. And you're like drifting out to sleep and you're like, oh, got to send that email out real quick. And you're like falling asleep again. And you're like, oh, I got to send the invoice. And you just stay so spun in your head because you have all these things happening. So I want to take that away. I want to put all of that stuff on a piece of paper so I don't have to think about it at night. And then I also a lot of us are not good sleepers as entrepreneurs and stuff. So when when I'm trying to get to sleep, I want to set up like triggers for myself. So I know like this is happening. This is a trigger. This is happening. This is a trigger. This is happening. I'm asleep. So for me in the evening, I I'll kind of do my bathroom stuff, brush my teeth, whatever else. Then I come to sit in my bed, and any of my tasks, I generally keep it like 5 or less. 3, I think, is kind of the key here. I write them down. What do I need to accomplish tomorrow to feel like I got a W for the day? What do I need to do to get a win? So I write them all down. So it's like, hey, text this person back, hit my workout, follow up with Susan, like whatever it is, random stuff. And then if I'm like, okay, if I checked off all these things, that's a successful day for me. And I go, okay, great. And then I also have that near my bed. So in case I go, oh, like that, the guy, and I just kind of jot it down real quick.
But don't you ever feel overwhelmed? Don't you ever feel like there's too many things on the plate?
Bro, don't you ever feel overwhelmed?
I always feel overwhelmed. That's why,
same.
I'm feeling Yeah, man, I'm feeling burnt out a little bit. I'm feeling, I've got the extra turbojet engine going at the moment. So,
yeah, but I think that's like most people feel overwhelmed. Most people are stressed out. Most people are just busy. We're busy right now, between like checking our phones and making sure our Apple Watches thing. We got kids and we're all overwhelmed. We're all busy. So like, don't let that stuff just linger in the back of your mind and just take up space. Take it out of your head, put it on a piece of paper. Because once you kind of like closed the loop, even if it's just like, hey, reminder, text Dan about tomorrow, then it's not like your brain can let it go, and it's not forced to like, all right, text Dan about tomorrow, text Dan about tomorrow, text Dan about tomorrow, and doesn't like keep you up at night thinking about it. So it's like a very good overwhelm buster for me.
Okay.
And then in terms of like falling asleep, I'll grab a book. I tell people to read something boring, like a business book, something marketing, something that's not like super engaging. But then I go and I read like Harry Potter and fantasy books that keep me up way too late. So I'm kind of not following this advice at the moment.
Shout out to Harry Potter. I love Harry Potter.
I do too, man. Man, teen lit gets me. Hunger Games, I'm here for it.
Oh my goodness.
I read my book. I put my sleep mask kind of on my forehead, and like that's kind of my cue, like time to chill out, time to relax. And then once I kind of feel my eyes getting heavy, sleep mask comes down, book goes away, and I'm like, I'm out in 2 minutes. It's awesome.
What's it like being a father?
It's first thing is that all your free time evaporates. It's all gone now. You don't have any more free time. What I find myself doing instead is washing the same dish 75 times every single day and being like, I guess I'll clean this one dish again. Like there's just always a mess somewhere for me to clean up. On the other hand, though, it's amazing. I got my daughter's almost 3, and then my son is a month old right now. So he's pretty boring. He doesn't really bring a lot to the table, but man, like it's been really fun bonding with my daughter since my son's been born. So like take her out, we go on bike rides, we go to the park. We were always in the backyard, like playing games and stuff. And she's just like so happy and so joyful. And it's very fun. Like I didn't think I was going to see this, but like seeing kids discover the world for the first time, like brings back like some joy that you probably lost along the way, where you're like, yeah, that's a sunset. Yeah, that's a backhoe. Who gives a shit? But she's like, that's a backhoe. And she's like, I want to get in it. Can I touch it? Let me look at it. And you're like, oh, like, okay, you're right. That's pretty cool. That's a cool thing. I never even thought about it. So it's fun. And also a lot less time for yourself.
Yeah, there's definitely something refreshing being around children. They bring that essence, that childlike spirit, and for sure. And I guess maybe going back into the fitness world, I appreciate you've sent me a lot of content, and I just like to give a shout out to you as well, to your YouTube channel. Your YouTube channel is really underrated. Actually, you know what? I might, do you mind if I just quickly show the viewers your YouTube channel?
Sure.
Because I think it's sorry guys, just bear with me. I'm just, has that come up on your side there?
Yep. Looks great.
Yeah. So I just had a quick look at your YouTube channel, and you have got so much content on here. Like I was dissecting some of your content here, and it's just, I feel like this is an exercise encyclopedia.
You can see the phases I've gone through in my business. where I was kind of like before I got into podcasting and after I got into podcasting and the products and programs I've built out and different things like that. So I think it's fun. I like scrolling through it and being like, oh yeah, I remember when I filmed all 500 of those exercise videos, because which I'm coaching clients, Kristian, I try to use my own stuff as much as possible because like I like my cues better. And like I want to tell people like, oh, tuck the elbow when you press because I want to make sure that everything's like in line with your like AC joint. So I like my tips better than I like random YouTube tips. So I've filmed hundreds of just like straight up exercise videos, not to mention the almost 100 podcasts I think I've got up there right now.
And for those listening, it's N8 Training Systems. So you guys can check that out and maybe subscribe to his channel and subscribe to my channel as well. And and how long have you been in the YouTube game for? Well, I guess I can say here.
8 years maybe. I don't know when my first video came out, but it's been a minute.
Wow, that's impressive, dude. Like that, you've got so much consistency. Like, 8 years was your first video. Wow, that's impressive.
Thanks, man. Yeah, I feel like that's one thing that I love about fitness, right? Because I got into this game because I wanted to be a big, scary like muscle guy. You know, I wanted to be intimidating. I've always like, you know, when I grew up, I'll tell you a story, Kristian. Like, so I was 11. My mom took my two sisters, I almost said daughters, my two sisters to school, and I was at home, and some guy knocked on the door. And I didn't recognize him, so I didn't let him in. So he came around the back of the house, and he broke in. I heard the glass break, so I was like, oh, shit. Grabbed a steak knife from the kitchen, went and hid under my bed, locked the door of my room. And so this guy, I can hear him moving around the house, and it's like this big dude wearing like a flannels jacket and a really low hat, and like I could kind of saw him here and there, and I'm looking around. And so I hear him, and then he comes in, he's like banging on my door of my room. And I'm 11, man. I'm scared shitless. I'm out of my mind right now. And I also was like scared of what's happening there, but I was also scared of like calling the police because I didn't want to get in trouble. So like I had all this fear. And so he leaves, and, you know, I'm like, you know, scarred for life or whatever else. So really what I started doing was two things. Number one, started collecting knives. And number two, I started working out. I was like, I don't ever want to feel powerless again. I don't want to feel like I'm out of control in this way. So I don't know if you can resonate with that. I know a lot of guys who go into like muscle building and fitness do it for that reason. But what I've really learned from fitness, like, yeah, it's awesome to have biceps and it's cool to look great with your shirt off. And like, it's amazing to feel fit and like awesome on a regular basis and feel unstoppable. But like learning about how the consistency with fitness, like it's not about a 3-week program, a 6-week detox, or a 4-month sprint or whatever else. It's about, like, tell me how many workouts you've done in the last 10 years. Tell me about how many you got this year. You know, it's not about today or tomorrow, the new plan you're trying or the new supplement. It's like, can I measure your progress in decades or in weeks, you know? And I think I try to put mentality to everything else that I do that's important. So like, I want to show up for my family like that. I want to be consistent for my family. I want them to always be like, yeah, he was always there. And then like my business, like I don't have the best podcast. My first podcast, you go back and watch him, sucked balls. I interviewed John Lee Dumas, my second podcast, and I think that guy hates me. I did a bad job, man. It was terrible. I kind of blew my shot. But like, I was always like, you know what? Like, okay, that wasn't the greatest, but next time will be better. And then next time will be better. And then next time will be better. And I just know, like, Babe Ruth has a quote that I really like. He says, you just can't beat the man who never gives up.
Respect
you
to that.
Can't beat the never one.
I resonate with that. Yeah.
Yeah. So that's kind of like, yeah, like I got a lot of content. I got hundreds of blog posts too, man. Like you see my Facebook group, it's insane. But really it's not about like anything that I've done that's so special. It's just about showing up every single day and trying to make it a little bit better, trying to help the people who are in my like small corner of the universe.
Do you mind if I pick that apart a little bit? With your online presence, what do you think has been your most successful thing? Like, is it your YouTube, your podcast, your Facebook? What do you think has brought you the most clients? Or
my Facebook group has brought me more clients than anything else. That's where 90% of my clients come from. But
Okay.
it's where like it's like a gated community, right? So you gotta actually join to see the stuff. So I put my better stuff in there. And then I'm like, so like, for example, like I'm launching a 5-day sugar detox starting on Monday. So like all free to everyone in my group, anyone can just join it. And I laid out this, like, I got this awesome, like walkthrough. I'm like, everyone's getting text messages on a daily basis. Like it's going to be super sick. But like, that's only available to the members of the group, and it's a free group. Anyone can join it. But like, that's what I love. And it's like, people have like kind of like raised their hand and like opted in and say like, hey, I want a little bit more. And so it enables me to like give back and pour into it. So, but I started my blog in 2010. And so that's kind of where everything started from. And I've been posting a lot of content there, but it's just not it's not a give and take, a blog. It's like, hey, here's me talking to you, read it.
Yeah, I feel like, because you're on Facebook, so many people are sucked into Facebook that, it's easier to market on that platform. What do you, because I had a blogger. Sorry, go ahead. What were you saying?
I was going to say, cause I like Facebook because like, I think a lot of people don't like Facebook because it's got like the long form posts, got a lot of political stuff on there. It was really horrible, like, November of last year in the US. And I know a lot of people were like, oh, I'm just getting nuts, I'm going to Clubhouse or whatever. But I think like that, my little corner of Facebook, the $1 Million Body group on there, if you want everyone to check it out, it's facebook.com/groups/optimal self. If you go there, like, everything's positive. The community is awesome. Everyone is so supportive. It's just so fun to be there, where I think that a lot of social media can be draining, or like comparison and like, or like, oh, this guy's talking about this and I don't agree, and this sort of thing. Like, I try to keep it really positive, really uplifting, really inspirational, motivational.
Okay. What about Instagram? Are you posting a lot on Instagram or not really?
Instagram is my social media of choice. So if I'm like, I need to kill 5 minutes, I'll pull up Instagram and browse it myself. I would like to get a little bit better at it, especially doing reels, but I'm pretty active on there. I'm posting 3 to 6 times a week.
Do you automate anything? Like, do you use any softwares or anything to push out content?
I use a couple different things. I got like a CRM that I do like my email, my like weekly emails, but honestly, like, it's not automated, but I have a content manager who's amazing. Like, this is like easily the best hire I've ever made. So basically what happens is I do a podcast and I rant about something, and I'm like, I kind of go off the rails and I, really loud and yell and stuff. And then she takes my podcast and she writes it up into a blog post for me. She puts it up on my blog. She attaches it to my YouTube channel. She writes my YouTube description. She sends that out in an email to people. So, and then she puts it into a LinkedIn post and puts that like in LinkedIn. And so it's amazing because I do the one piece of content, and then she goes in and she has an amazing way of like actually like communicating my voice and how I talk and stuff. And so it's not like I've automated it through software, but like, she is my secret weapon. She's my unicorn.
Okay, wow. Okay. That's helpful to know. Okay. And what's the future look like for your business?
Oh, good question. So I just really recently put out the $1 Million Body Method. Let's see if I can grab a copy. It's right. Gotta have the copy. It's $1 Million Body Method. It came out February 1st. And this is like a kind of what I've talked about I put out an article in 2014 called How to Eat for All Day Energy.
Yeah.
And then I revisited that article. One of my clients is like a super busy roofer, and he had no time. And he's like, man, I'm burning all this time at work. Like, I feel completely inefficient. Like, I'm spending all this time on like paperwork and stuff like that. I change tasks all the time. He's like, I need to lose weight, but like, really what I need is energy. He's like, I'm drinking like 3 energy drinks a day. I just feel like shit all the time. Everything's hard. I'm like, okay, we're going to put together a plan for you that's all about energy. How do you get the maximum amount of energy for your day, for the focus that you need? And so we built it out, and literally it's all in here. I didn't like no holds barred, just like straight up. I gave all the information away. A lot of people are like, hey, like, my book is a glorified sales pitch. This is it. It's got everything in there. So we built it all out for him, and he's like, oh my gosh, my energy is amazing. I'm feeling so good. I'm getting 12 hours of work done in 10 hours. I'm getting home to my family. I don't need to crash on the couch and watch ESPN. I'm just rolling into like my day. I feel amazing. I'm sleeping like a king. And then like a week later, he's like, oh, by the way, did I tell you that I lost 10 pounds in the last 2 weeks? And I was like, excuse me? And so that's kind of where like this was born from. So like over the course of, I think, like 2.5 months, he lost almost 30 pounds, or almost 15 kilos. And so like this kind of method was born because it's a nutrition plan that's focused first on energy and productivity. So like, it's like a performance eating plan, but not for athletes, but for people who are like you and I, who are using our brains, who need a lot of like focus and stuff to like be mobile. So that's really the future of my business. That's what I'm going all in on. I want to help entrepreneurs, solopreneurs, people who are like busy changing the world. I want to help them get their nutrition and fitness just like completely automated. Right now, like I want to start with 1,000 people. I just want to get 1,000 people some amazing results and just have them go out and impact the people that they love. And then like the things that are important to them. So I want people to read the book. I want them to follow along. It's a 28-day plan in here. It's all laid out for you. And then if you want more, or if you want like specifics, here's exactly a nutrition plan. Like I have a program like that, and it's very inexpensive because I want a lot of people to be able to get stuff out of it. Previously, I was doing like $2,000, $3,000 programs and working with people like very intensely. But I feel like this is the way we can actually change the world.
Okay. You have one awesome message in your book, and you speak about complexity. And this is something that maybe I tend to be a victim of. I always think that if the more complex it is, the better it is. So yeah, I think that's, having read that kind of is like a light bulb in my head that I should simplify things, because complexity kills momentum. And that's something that I need to learn and take away. That's something that I've taken away from the book, which I thank you for putting that in there.
For sure, yeah. And I feel like that goes back to like, that's kind of just the underlying message. Like if you're trying to calculate your macros on a daily basis, if you're trying to wake up and like figure out exactly what you're going to eat and in the morning, if you're trying to like get to work and be like, oh, okay, now how do I connect my CRM to an ad page, to a marketing funnel, to like a Facebook group? It's like, it's so complicated. For me, like I had a product that I created, Kristian, called Bod in a Box. I took a suspension trainer. I took some sliders, a couple bands, and I put together programs. And like, you see all the exercise videos. I filmed hundreds of exercise videos for this program. And it was complicated. It was like, you had to learn how to like use the thing and set it up, and how does it even work? And so like a lot of people can go to the gym and like do a bench press, but like to learn how to use a suspension trainer is more complicated. And then I was doing
so what's a suspension trainer? Sorry to cut you off there.
Do you know what a TRX is?
No.
The yellow and black straps with the handles. They're like nylon straps. They look like toe straps.
Oh, yes. Okay. Yes. I'm with you. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. So like you like hold on to them. You can do like squats, or you can like lean back and then pull yourself in. So it's all about like body weight movement. So it's very cool. I used it for an entire year. My wife and I were traveling through South America, but it's complicated. And I was coming up with complicated programs, and I was sending them out in these complicated ways. And then one day, Kristian, I was just like I have so much on my mind right now. I've got so much to do. And then I was like, well, what would happen if I just stopped? What happened if I just completely stopped doing all this stuff? And I did, and nothing happened. My business stayed the same. The results clients were getting stayed the same. My finances stayed the same. And I just realized like I was making things way more complicated than they had to be to get the results that I was looking for. I was so spun up about the newest thing and delivering this magic thing and having an extra software and having all these things. So that's why with this, I like the book. If you want to work with me, it's simple. If you want to follow the program, it's simple. If you want to do the diet, it's simple. Like it's very, very structured for someone who doesn't want to spend their time learning how to be a nutritionist or an exercise kinesiologist or something like that.
You touched on body weight. So I think body weight's such an awesome idea to get into exercise without, signing up to a gym membership, or if that's your thing. What's your opinion on body weight exercises?
I'm a huge fan of bodyweight exercises. So, basically bodyweight exercises where you're moving your body through space, and like we can call it a bodyweight exercise, but it could also be a squat with a barbell, right? You're still moving your body through space, just an additional load. Those are all called closed chain exercises. So think about a push-up, that's a closed chain exercise, versus a bench press where the weights are hanging out in space, or you're pushing like dumbbells or something like that. That's an open chain exercise. Okay. The cool thing about a closed chain exercise is that when you're doing it, your body doesn't know that you're doing a row on a TRX. What it knows is there's strain, and you're trying to move to probably get out of the way of danger or something. So like if you're doing a pull-up, it doesn't know we're repping out at the gym. It's like there very well could be a cheetah underneath us trying to eat us. So what your body will respond to bodyweight exercise, which is super cool. It will actually be like, okay, we need to drop non-functional tissue. You're fat. We need to get rid of that. It's not serving us. We will get eaten if we have too much of this. And we need to increase your functional tissue, your muscle, so you can get up into that tree, jump over that log, get out of harm's way. So when you train with more bodyweight exercises, you can actually trigger an evolutionary mechanism within your body by communicating in a specific way to say, hey, I need to be leaner, I need to be fitter, I need to be I need to be carrying less fat, which is so cool. So I think that I'm a huge fan. All my programs include some variation of bodyweight exercises. I obviously love weights, love training, like helping people get fit with get really strong. I think bodyweight exercises are tough to get extremely like top end strong with because they're hard to load. But every program should have some sort of bodyweight exercise in there.
This is going to sound like a silly question, but what's the benefit of being lean?
Besides, everything in your life is way better. You have a huge advantage over everyone else in life. Your energy is insane. You feel amazing. You look in the mirror, you have confidence. Besides all those things, not really a lot, actually.
Okay.
No,
because I'm just kind of I guess maybe like a power lifter, because I know that a power lifter is maybe leaning towards maybe overweightish, and they need that extra volume so they can lift heavy, I guess. So I'm just kind of trying to understand from both angles, how everything fits together.
It's funny. My biggest gain I ever made in my bench press was when I gained 20 pounds physically, which you wouldn't think that gaining weight would actually increase your your pressing strength, but it did. So, but being lean, I feel and some guys, they want to look in the mirror and just be jacked, jacked. just ripped, just a unit. You know what I mean?
But is that? But would you say that's an egotistical thing, or would you say that that's a functional thing? Where's that? Where? Yes,
it is to both. I think it's hugely egotistical, but I don't think there's anything wrong with that.
Yeah, there's nothing wrong with that. Yeah.
If you wake up in the mirror, you wake up in the morning, you shower, and you look in the mirror and you go, yes. How much swagger do you bring to the rest of your day, bro? Yeah, you just walk around with a different person. Yeah. And having been on both sides of that, where I did not like how my body looked and I did not like how I felt. And I was carrying on extra weight and I didn't feel lean. And now kind of I'm actually working towards a photo shoot in middle of April. So I'm dieting down. I'm getting a little bit leaner. I'm literally listening to myself and following the program. And I just wake up every day and I feel great, dude. I just there's a lot of confidence. There's a lot of because I think that especially for men, and I'm sure women are like this too, but especially for men, there's a track that plays in the back of our mind. And if you are out of shape, if you are not healthy, if you don't feel good, if you don't like the way you look, then you can never delete this track. It's you're not good enough. You don't look good. You don't feel good. You should get in shape. You should drop weight. You should drop weight. And it just plays and plays and plays and plays and plays. And it just drains you. It saps mental and emotional energy. So when you're able to being lean, in and of itself, there's not a lot of there's some health benefits and stuff like that, but the mental benefits and the benefits of being now I can actually pursue the things that are important to me, building my financial success, having great times with my family, spending times with friends that mean a lot to me. Those are the important things in life, right? Your bench press, not that important, but your bench press accommodates those other things. Your fitness level accommodates and amplifies those other things. Fitness is the cornerstone. It's the foundation to an amazing life. The man with his health, Kristian, has 1,000 dreams, but the man without his health only has one dream.
Yeah, someone was saying something that, all these people that have all this wealth but don't really take care of this health. It's like this old guy on a boat and he's got a sore throat and he's got all these beautiful women around him. He's eating grapes, but he's still got this thing in his throat that he can't get rid of. And all the money in the world, he still can't get rid of this sickness. And I respect your message because it's about health and wellness. It's about looking after yourself so you can have a nice, easy life. Well, an easier life. So, yeah.
Or you can have a hard life and crush it. You know what I mean? You can have the resilience and the consistency to go after those things that are tough and difficult. If you're just barely making it through, why are you going to choose anything that's challenging for you? Why are you going to put on another business venture? Why are you going to try something that maybe doesn't make sense? Why are you going to take that big risk? But when you're fit and you're I got this, I am so confident in myself because I know I can do anything I set my mind to. It's a different mentality. You're just built different that way. And I think people don't realize it because they've never been to that place yet. I think
Yes.
every adult,
Yes.
especially if you're an entrepreneur or a business owner, you owe it to yourself. It's very important that you get in the best shape of your life. It's like, and you don't have to maintain it for the rest of your life, but you need to get in the best shape of your life at least one time to see how it feels and to see what the other side's like.
Absolutely. And what's the relationship with you mentioned discipline, so how does that relate into other areas of my life? So do you think there's a relationship there?
Absolutely. And I think that like, it kind of goes back to the simplicity versus complexity thing. Discipline is a way of automating, right? Intermittent fasting is a form of discipline. So, right, it's like I don't eat until whatever o'clock, disciplined, right? Versus I shouldn't eat until 11. I shouldn't eat sugar today. I probably won't eat dessert today. Maybe I'll have it for a cheat meal later. That leaves so much flexibility and so much room for interpretation. And human beings, we're like the greatest in the world at like explaining things and rationalizing things, and like giving ourselves outs. So when you have discipline, it's like, no, I wake up in the morning, I go have my 2 glasses of water and I do my morning routine. No, when I go to bed, I'm disciplined. I lay down, I do my thing, I read my book, and I go to sleep. Every single day, I go exercise. I work out for 45 minutes. That's it. I do it. It's like, it's on the calendar. It's happening. And you can start, and then like, so once you have those things in place, now you don't have to think about it anymore. You don't have to convince yourself. You're not rationalizing anything, because how often you've been like, I should go run. And then like 45 minutes later, you're like, I should probably still go running. And then you're like, 45 minutes go by and you're like, oh, now it's dark. I can't go.
I didn't run. Yeah.
Yeah. But if you're disciplined, you don't have to think about that. You don't have to fight yourself. You just go run, come back, and now you're on to the next thing. So I think discipline is way more important than motivation. I think discipline makes your life so much simpler.
Where does discipline come from?
Ooh, that's a good question. I think it's got to be a decision, and I think it's got to have some other like you can decide like, yeah, I want to be disciplined, but I think you also have to decide like, well, why is this important, right? Like, okay, I want to be disciplined with my health and fitness. I want to get to the gym 4 times this week. Who gives a shit? Who cares? Why is that important? What's going to make you do that on the mornings when you're tired, when you're cold, when you don't feel good? And it's because you're like, okay, I need to show up for my family big time. I have a job that like, I want to show up for my clients, and I want to have a lot of financial success. You're like, okay, I get and go. Right. And so like, once you start creating those habits, ingraining some of those things, I think at that point, like that's where like the discipline really takes off. But I do think it takes some practice and some reps to really like build it in though.
Practice definitely does make perfect. Yeah. Just continuing the exercise, it kind of builds muscle memory, and then you're able to do it a bit easier. I feel that's my experience anyway.
Yeah. And like the more times you go and you go, hey, like running sucks, I don't want to do it, but I'm going to go do it right now. Like it gets easier and easier and easier to like bully yourself into doing stuff that you maybe don't want to do, but you should. Right. And then you apply that to everything else in your life. I don't really want to finish this email sequence right now. This is hard for me. I don't want to edit this podcast. Like I would rather go outside. Like, and you're like, you know what? Through is the way. And you do the thing, and then you're like, great, I did it. Another like pat on the back, another like accolade for me because I'm fucking awesome. I'm sorry if I'm swearing too much.
No, that's all right. And what about, do you have any messages for people that struggle to find that discipline? Because I know that you are a very motivated individual, but maybe there's someone that's sleeping in a little bit too much, and it's very hard because you can't force your message onto them. Like, what do you do in that situation? Yeah. How would you handle that situation?
That's a great question. And so like a lot of times when I'm talking to people and they're like, well, like I want to lose weight. And I ask them the same thing. I'm like, well, why does that matter? Why is that important? Because I think that a lot of times, Kristian, people will do more for other people than they'll do for themselves, right? Like, I don't know if you ever if you're like a mom like this, or like, I think moms are all this way. Well, they'll like bend over backwards to do so much for everyone else. And then you're like, hey, you need to prioritize your health. And they're like, well, I would, but I'm too busy prioritizing everyone else in front of me. And so like, so if you can go like, okay, well, like, why is it important you lose weight? And you're like, well, I want to be there. Like, I want to walk my daughter down the aisle. Like, okay, now we're talking. Like I don't want like my dad, like for example, this is not my dad, but like my dad wasn't able to play with me at the park because he was overweight. Or my dad, I didn't see, like, I had an absentee father. He didn't show up for me at my sports games. And you're like, okay. And you want to have that powerful impact on your own family's life. You're like, okay, great. Well, that starts by getting up in the morning and taking a walk. That starts by getting up in the morning and going to the gym. And so now connecting it to those other things that are impactful for your life, right? Because like, I like the gym. I think working out's fun, but even I go through dips where I'm like, this shit sucks. I'm not having fun right now. And then it's like, well, why am I even here? Why am I doing this? What's important to me? Well, like, I don't show up for my family if I don't work out. Like, if you give me 3 days off the gym, or like a week off, like I'm a different person. I am not healthy mentally. So like, it's very important that I go, because like other people are relying on me. And so I'll go for them, like on the days when I won't go for myself.
Yeah. So from what I'm understanding, it's like this accountability. Like, you've got this chip on your shoulder. You have to uphold your family, and which is pretty cool. It's a very noble thing.
But also maybe you're not married, maybe you don't have kids. Like, well, what do you want? Well, you want to be financially successful. You want to like make big business deals. You want to build a great business. You get your ass to the gym then, because that's where it starts. That's where you're going to have your best ideas. You're going to think a lot more clearly. Fitness is the foundation. So it's like, what are the other things in your life? Like, if fitness is here, like what other things that can we connect to fitness? In that doing fitness, you will make all those other things better, whether it's family, your friends, your relationships, your financial success, your business, like all these other things. Like, if we can draw parallels and make them connect the dots, then discipline becomes a lot easier to uphold, because it's no longer just like willpower straining through it, but it's actually being like, I get it. I know why. I know my why.
Yeah. That whole idea about willpower. Yeah. I like the way that you've put it. It's a very easy way to digest the way that you've put it.
If you like willpower and talking about that sort of thing, Dr. Benjamin Hardy has an amazing book called Willpower Doesn't Work. It's one I read every single year. It's so good. And it's like, if you work with clients in fitness or nutrition, any capacity, it's a must read.
Okay, cool. I'll note that down. Okay, so I guess picking apart some exercises, what's some exercises that you would recommend for the average Joe? Maybe they want to build some muscle. I know it's a very general question, but I'm happy to listen to you and see where it goes.
Well, everybody should do bicep curls, obviously.
Okay.
You want to look good, you better do bicep curls. No. So here's my thought on that, is that like, number one, people screw this up all the time. They choose fancy exercises. They do things that people you see on Instagram where the trainer's like balancing on one foot, like touching his nose, like doing like naked Bosu ball, like kettlebell snatches or something stupid. And they're like, oh yeah, that's probably how he got fit, by doing these crazy circus exercises. And you're like, no, bitch, he did not get fit by doing that. He can do that because he's so strong and so fit from other things. But there's no one who's getting fit off of their like detox teas and shrink wrap waist shit and fancy balance exercises. What we need to do, and I think we need to bring back the idea of progressive overload. Have you heard the story of Milo of Croton?
Is he the guy with the cow?
Yeah, that's right.
Yes,
yeah. So
yes.
Famous, like old school Greek wrestler. Like the story,
I love that
as
story.
The story goes, he basically picks this cow up and carries it around every single day from when it's a calf all the way until it's a bull. So like as the calf gets bigger and gains more weight, he gets stronger and stronger and stronger. And so like, that's the idea of progressive overload. Because if you want to build a physique that looks good and it performs well, you need to get strong in key areas. Okay. So I think for a lot of guys, we need to be working on our lateral deltoids, side delts, builds that, like kind of gives you that V taper. We need to be working on our lats, again, kind of like tapers down into the waist. And we need to be working on our upper chest. Okay. Most guys probably need more triceps than biceps, to be honest, as well. So what I would do is I would pick one exercise for each of those, like for the body parts that you're trying to work. For example, let's talk about chest, because I think that, like, International Chest Day, very important. You got to train it 9 times a week.
Yes.
So like pick one exercise that's going to do the thing you want it to do. And in most cases, the best chest exercise is an incline dumbbell press. And I have yet to find any information that would tell me that I am off in this. I think this is the best chest exercise bar none, because it builds the upper chest, and when we build the upper chest, it lifts the lower chest up. Most guys don't need lower chest. We need like a thicker, heavier upper chest to give us like that power look, essentially.
Sorry, which exercise is that? Sorry.
Incline dumbbell bench press.
Incline dumbbell bench press. Okay, cool. I'll
if
note
you go to
that
my
down.
YouTube channel, you can
Oh, okay.
yeah, just laying on the incline bench and just.
Do you mind? Well, I'll quickly check
let's do it.
Incline
Let's do it.
dumbbell. Is this? I think this is the one here.
Oh, wow. Good job. Yeah, just skip ahead. I talk a lot. So in terms of like points of performance, you see my elbows are at that 45 degree. That keeps the tension on the pecs, instead of a lot of guys will pull them out here and overload the shoulders with it. And they get a lot of front delt, but they also put a ton of pressure on the AC joint in the shoulder, and they don't actually work the pectoral muscle fibers. So incline dumbbell bench press. And then the goal, Kristian, is like, yes, you did an incline dumbbell bench press, but now next week, you got to do it better. You got to do it again. You got to do it more. So if you did let's say you did 50 pounds for 10 reps. Next week, you got to do 50 pounds for 11 reps or 55 pounds for 10 reps. So the goal is progressive overload.
It's a progressive overload,
getting
a little bit better.
And it'd be nice to do that on all your exercises, but I think really picking one exercise per day that you always improve on, that you always work as hard as you possibly can on, that's going to be so key for a lot of guys listening to this right now.
What about when we get bored of the same exercise? I guess because that's something that I experience. Sometimes I would go to the gym and I'd this is boring, and then I'd give up. I guess we need the variety. Variety is the spice of life, I guess. So, is there anything that you can speak into that?
Yeah. So like I 100% hear you. And sometimes like exercises do get a little bit boring, but the thing is like I think that a lot of times, Kristian, we're so like ADD, right? We're like, oh, what's this? Like, oh, I got my stuff here. Okay. Got to check in on this. And like, we're always looking for like the newest, the best thing. That's why these diets like keto, you're going to lose weight by only eating butter. Or you're like, oh yeah, I've got to sign up for that. Like, so we're looking for the newest, the fanciest things. But I think that in a lot of cases, our lives get better when we lean into that boredom. When you're a little bit bored in the gym, that's when you start seeing the progress. The person who's the chronic program hopper, going from this one 3 weeks later, he's doing this one. Now he's doing P90X. Now he's doing the 5x5 program. Now he's doing a strong lifts, like all these things. Like that person will not get results. Whereas someone else who's just in here grinding away day in and day out on his incline dumbbell bench press until he hits the point where he's like, hey, I did 10 reps with 90s last week. And this week I did 9 reps with 90s. Okay, now we switch the exercise up until once you've exhausted your gains. But getting bored is like one of the best things that you can do nutritionally and with your strength training. And like, you don't have to do the same boring routine all the time, but if you pick that one lift and get a little bit bored on it, you can spice it up around the other sides. Do your cardio a little different. The hardest cardio is the one you're not good at, right? Like if you get really good at running, it's not very good cardio anymore. Put some rollerblades on, go run through the sand. That sounds like it'd be horrible. So you can tighten it up and tweak it and change up different other things, but like getting strong requires some boredom. And and I think that's when you start seeing results. And that's why a lot of guys, you see them in the gym over and over and over again, day in, day out, but they're not doing what's required to get the results because they're not getting bored. They're scared.
Okay. Supplementation. I know this is a very broad area, but look, I appreciate you mentioned in the morning you drink water with vitamin D drops, which I found pretty cool. What's your go-to supplementations at the moment? Or
I'm taking a lot of supplements at the moment. I'm just trying a couple of different things out. So in the morning I have vitamin D. I have about 5,000 IUs. I do the vitamin D3 with K2. K2 prevents calcium leaching from your bones or soft tissue. So if you're having just like the regular like vitamin D tablets, make sure it's got K2 in it. I'm doing a protein shake every single day. That's like it's my breakfast. This is what I have for breakfast, protein shake. And I change my whey protein up a little bit every so often, but I'm also been putting I put in creatine into that, and I put in a reishi mushroom supplement as well for immune boosting and just cognitive enhancement. And then I'll have some green tea. Sometimes I'll throw some collagen peptides in there, just give it a little bit of a protein boost. Then pre-workout, my pre-workout gets a little bit weird because sometimes I'll have like a pickle and a piece of nicotine gum. Like that can be a pre-workout for me. But then yeah.
Can I just pick that apart? What is that? Like, I've heard pickle juice is good for recovery. I've heard things like
it's good for a pump. It's got a ton of sodium in it. So like if you eat a pickle before you go do arm day, bro, like you'll thank me later. Just try it out.
Okay. I'll go try that one out. Okay, cool.
And then nicotine gum. Nicotine is a light stimulant. And a lot of people think, oh, nicotine equals cigarettes. But if you're smoking, if you're dipping, if you're like doing the patch, it's all going into your bloodstream. But if you're chewing the gum, it's absorbed sublingually in your mouth. So like a gum or a lozenge is going to give you a way lower like risk of addiction or like, dependency. So I'll do it like once every other week. It's a little boost. It'll bring you from like a 5 to a 7, where I feel like a caffeine will bring you from like a 4 to a 9, and then when you spit it out, it's gone. So like if you're training late in the day, it's a nice thing. So sometimes I also I've been trying not to train with stimulants though, because stimulants will vasoconstrict. They'll constrict your blood vessels. And I want more blood flow to my muscles during my training sessions.
Okay.
Post-workout, I take creatine and leucine. And then maybe I do another protein shake before bed.
Okay.
Yeah. I want to take fish oil like once. Oh yeah. I take fish oil at every meal. I take like 360 milligrams of EPA and 240 milligrams of DHA. And then before bed, I've been taking, this one has been crazy. I wear a Whoop strap, so it measures my recovery, my sleep and stuff like that. And ever since I've been starting to do this one supplement, it's been way better. I've been getting all these great recoveries. And that supplement is called Lithium Aspartate.
Oh, we just lost Nate. Oh, he's back on. Oh, sorry. I don't know what happened there. I can see you, yeah.
Okay. Yeah. So lithium aspartate, you can get like a lot of pills for not that much money, and that's been awesome. And then I take magnesium and zinc before bed every night.
Okay. Well, I wouldn't like to look at your vitamin. You must have like a massive vitamin case or something, because that's it's a lot of. I mean, I guess it. Yeah.
It's not as much as you think.
It sounds like it's working. It's not as much as I think. Okay.
And all the supplements are cheap and proven. So I think they're awesome.
Alcohol, yes or no?
No.
Just flat out no at all times? Or what about the occasional cheeky drink? You condone that?
I mean, if you got buddies around and stuff like that. Yeah. In an ideal world, no. Like it's not conducive to muscle building. It's not conducive to fat loss. But in other, like if you're going to be drinking, I have a whole thing on like how to drink without gaining belly fat. So if you want to, I can link that to you in the show notes.
I generally stick to the gin and tonics. If I am
ditch the
drinking,
tonic, bro. Got to get the soda water.
Oh, so okay, soda. I'll take that on board. Okay, soda water. All right.
Because the tonic is basically has as much sugar as soda does, as pop does.
Okay.
Hey man, I'm sorry about this, but I do have to run right here just in a second or two.
All good. Before we wrap up the podcast, how can people reach you? How can people find you?
Good question. So best place to connect with me is my Facebook group. It's just where I spend like the most time and energy. Facebook.com/groups/optimal self. But then you can find me on a lot of other places. My handles on Twitter, LinkedIn, Instagram is all N8 training, Nate Training. And you can also find my website, n8trainingsystems.com or milliondolarbodymethod.com. Check out the book. And then you can also go on Amazon, buy the book. It's only like $2 right now.
Awesome. All right. Thanks for your information, Nate, and enjoy your day. And thanks guys for watching. Thank you.
Thanks, Kristian. This has been a lot of fun, man.